all strategy starts with vision. You know, what is our vision for the future? What is our mission? What do we do? Where do we want to be? Who do we want to aspire to be? And then after that, you know, it's really understanding what our SWOT, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities are. And so we went through that as a leadership team 2 weeks ago, actually. And so we have a pretty good understanding of what our capabilities are, what our strengths, you know, all these different things. And now our next step is to start from those to develop strategies on, you know, defensive strategies, offensive strategies, things to take advantage of opportunities, things to cover our weaknesses. So, you know, we're developing an array of strategies, and then we're going to end up scoring those and figuring out you can't do them all. So you have to pare them down and figure out which ones can we focus on as a leadership team with the resources, the cash, all these different things that we have. And then we will focus on those. And then from that, we have another process called the X matrix, or what I think is X matrix, X-ray matrix, X matrix. So it's also called the Hoshin Kanri. He is a Japanese, kind of like a Deming type of guru out of Japan. Yeah, it's a fantastic, very simple to use process for taking your Hoshin Kanri.
Yeah, how do you spell that?
Hoshinkanri. If you Google X matrix, you'll find it.
Okay, got it. I'll put it in the show notes, at least people can.
Yeah. So once we as a company have determined what our strategies are and what our strategic objectives are, then so we align those. So we drive execution on strategy using the X matrix process. So, you know, we start with the objectives. We line up. It's a grid. So there's a square in the middle. You've got your strategic objectives at the bottom. And then on the left, you've got your strategies that you already figured out. We know what those are going to be. At the top, you start to develop the projects that are going to implement those strategies, that are going to get you to those strategic objectives. Your strategies are really limited to one. These are annual strategies. Your goals at the bottom are 3 to 5 years. You bite it off 1 year at a time on the west axis. And at the top, you're figuring out what projects are going to get you there. Okay. And then off on the east, you've got the various data points. So you're going to measurements, all the measurements that you're going to calculate, and then who's got the assignments. And then there's something called a bowler chart, and then you've got the high level project descriptions and so forth. So there's a process to it, and that allows us to figure out what we want to do, how we want to execute, who's got the assignments, what our measures of success are. And you know, when you think about it from the very top all the way through to execution, we feel like we've got a pretty good process in place.
That's great. That's great. I love that. Yeah, I think that's a big challenge for a lot of digital leaders, CIOs that are looking to make that transition into strategy is really having something that can guide the ship as they. It's one thing to have the capability to do this, but then another thing to be able to guide groups of people and lead them into a process. So I'm glad you highlighted that, because I think the process is important more than just the macro statement. So that's really, really, really powerful.